When I was reading the story this morning, I sort of went through and I thought, oh my God, that's a shame, but it's happening in thousands, millions of families.
This is it. It's not unique at all, is it?
No, but what is quite unique, of course, and then I got to the bottom of it and I went, the will. And that to me seemed like, you know, as you say, you know, so the final nail in the coffin was the fact that that the will appeared in your eyes to be unfair.
Yes, only in the sense that I'm categorised, along with Dad's driver and his secretary. It's a different category. It's plainly wrong, or unfair, however you want to call it.
Yeah. So it's not about. This is not about money.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't know. Whatever money there is or isn't there, it's whether it's 10 quid or 10 million or whatever. It's the different category that I appear in.
And the saddest thing about this is, you can't really resolve this. Your father's gone. You can't have this conversation with him.
No, that's true.
Again, so how do you, as a person, as an individual, move forward from this?
Well, it's interesting because when this has all come out in answer to your earlier question since the memorial, this is kind of why I've gone public on this, because it's been really a systematic unfairness for a very long time throughout the family, which I admit I was probably in denial about, or rather didn't want to accept. I'd rather have had it like that and kind of accept it, knowing it wasn't quite right. My ex-husband knew everything was wrong, so did my children, my husband now. But what spurred me on was because of the sort of injustice from the memorial and then the will, and wanting to try and make things right with Lucy and Charles. I did meet Lucy back in June and talked about it. And she cut it, because Lucy and Charles have always been brought up like this, to be in that small four-member family. I don't think she ever really accepted my point that we were excluded.
But the trouble is, as Holly was hinting at then, you know, by sitting on this sofa and talking publicly, there is, I would have thought, little hope of reconciliation now, because any rift there was before, you talking publicly and airing the dirty family laundry is not going to help.
No, it's not. No,
Do you feel better
I realise that.
Doing that?
Not really, no, because I've sort of kept silent for such a long time. So in a way, well, in a big way, this has all been a cathartic experience for me, sitting on this sofa and talking to you, really. And yes, it is sad, because I did love Lucy and Charles since they were children, and the grandchildren will have their own, you know, as they grow up, they can make their own decisions. But, you know, this has been, as I say, a systematic unfairness for a very long time. And I've never said anything about it before. And it doesn't at all take away from my dad's fantastic career, deserved recognition, his tremendous talent, etc.
I said that in that introduction there a moment ago, that you'd questioned whether he loved you at all.
I did question that, I must admit. When I first saw the will, you know, you go over it in your mind. I do think he did. I do think he did. Indeed, at the end of the memorial, a very good friend of my dad's, Sandy Anderson, came up to me and said, as if she knew I was a little bit upset about the way it had gone, she said, you know, he did love you, you know. His eyes lit up when he saw you.
Oh,
and I kind of know he did, really.
Yeah.
When I last saw him, that was in February. And
just
his
before
eyes
he died,
did.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I went to see him. He was in hospital for a week. He did rally a bit, but not for very long. Anyway, so I did. You know, his eyes did light up. I'm sure he did.
You have to hold on to that. You have
to.
Definitely.
And so that's the answer, really, is that no, I'm not bitter. It's a really sad story, and the other reason I wanted to make it public was because, as you earlier said, I think this happens a lot within families, much more now than when I was little. I've learnt from it massively, because I'm hopefully a good stepmother to my stepchildren, as is my ex-husband's remarried to a lovely lady, and she's lovely with mine. So, you know, you sort of you know how it should be.
It is a shame, but it's a fascinating insight. I met him 2 or 3 times, and he was such a lovely man.
Yeah,
Just
he was.